Welcome to Silent Crime Case, where the quietest whispers often hide the darkest secrets. Today we unravel the chilling story of Natalie Renfield, a shining star in her community, whose life ended in tragedy. What began as a tragic accident quickly spiraled into a web of forbidden love, betrayal, and devastating secrets. Who can be trusted when every clue points to someone close? Stay with us as we uncover the shocking truth behind the shattered illusion, a tragic case of secrets and betrayal. This is a story you won't forget. In the quiet town of Lenox, Illinois, 18-year-old Natalie "Nat" Renfield was the heartbeat of the local high school. As captain of the cheerleading squad at Lenox High, her dazzling performances during halftime made her a local celebrity. Known for her golden curls and infectious smile, Nat embodied ambition and grace. Beyond her cheerleading accomplishments, Nat excelled academically and dreamed of studying physical therapy to help injured athletes regain their strength. Nat lived with her father, Martin Renfield, 39, a driven sales executive, and her mother, Rebecca Renfield, 35, a once vibrant homemaker now battling alcoholism. While Martin's constant drive to push Nat to excel bordered on obsession, Rebecca's retreat into her own struggles created a tense household. Despite her radiant public image, Nat carried a heavy burden. She was entangled in a forbidden relationship with her charismatic cheerleading coach, Maddox, 47. What began as secret glances at practice spiraled into a clandestine affair that would later shake the foundations of her seemingly perfect life. Unbeknownst to her closest friends, Nat discovered she was pregnant, further complicating an already precarious situation. With her father's relentless expectations, her mother's absence, and the mounting pressure of a hidden relationship, Nat's bright world began to crack. She managed her growing anxieties alone, her smile masking the storm brewing underneath. Lenox, oblivious to the turmoil in their golden girl's life, was about to be blindsided by a tragedy that would forever alter their perception of her. On June 15, 2018, the Renfield household awoke to a tragedy that would ripple through the town of Lenox. It was Martin who discovered Nat's lifeless body at the foot of the basement stairs. The sight of her crumpled form, surrounded by toppled cheerleading trophies and training equipment, sent a shockwave of disbelief through him. The basement, once a vibrant space that showcased Nat's achievements, was now shrouded in an eerie silence, tainted by the weight of loss. Frantic and panicked, Martin dialed 911, his voice cracking as he pleaded for help. "My daughter. She's not breathing. Please send someone quickly." Rebecca, still groggy from a night of drinking, stumbled into the chaos as emergency responders arrived. Her anguished cries echoed through the house, mingling with the sirens. Paramedics confirmed Nat's death, their solemn expressions hinting at the devastation they'd uncovered. While initial assumptions pointed to a tragic fall, the lead investigator, Detective Marcia Doyle, felt something was amiss. Doyle, a seasoned detective with a keen instinct for uncovering hidden truths, immediately noted inconsistencies. The absence of blood, Nat's peculiar position, and the meticulous arrangement of objects around her sparked suspicions. As neighbors gathered outside the Renfield home, murmurs of disbelief spread. Lenox's golden girl was gone, and the community struggled to comprehend the loss. For Detective Doyle, it wasn't just about a young girl's tragic end. Her gut told her there was more to this story, something dark, hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. The investigation had only just begun, but the weight of unraveling the truth pressed heavily on her shoulders. Hours after the discovery of Nat's body, the town of Lenox buzzed with speculation. At the police station, Detective Doyle's team began reconstructing Nat's final days. Friends recalled that Nat had seemed unusually withdrawn and distracted, a stark contrast to her typically vibrant demeanor. One friend, Lauren Winters, hesitantly admitted that Nat had hinted at a complicated situation, but had refused to divulge details. Lauren's words fueled Doyle's resolve. "Someone in Nat's life knows more," she said, her voice steady but tinged with determination. "And I'm going to find out who." The revelations reframed the case from a tragic accident to a potential homicide investigation. For Detective Doyle, every clue uncovered only deepened the mystery, drawing her closer to the truth while exposing a tangled web of secrets that threatened to engulf everyone involved. As the investigation progressed, Maddox, Nat's cheerleading coach, became the first person of interest. Maddox was well respected in the Lenox community, praised for leading the high school's cheer team to numerous state championships. Yet beneath his polished exterior, rumors of inappropriate behavior swirled quietly, whispers that had never been substantiated, until now. In a tense interrogation room, Maddox faced Detective Doyle. Initially calm and cooperative, he described Nat as a talented and driven young woman with an extraordinary future. His demeanor shifted, however, when Doyle presented evidence linking him to Nat beyond their professional relationship. Text messages laced with intimate undertones revealed an illicit connection that Maddox could no longer deny. Confronted with the autopsy findings, Maddox faltered. His confident facade cracked as he murmured, "I didn't know she was pregnant, or about the infection." Despite his admissions, he vehemently denied involvement in Nat's death. "I cared for her deeply, but I would never hurt her," he insisted, desperation creeping into his voice. For Detective Doyle, Maddox's denials were insufficient. His conflicting emotions and evasive answers painted a picture of a man hiding the full truth. With Maddox's reputation now under scrutiny, Doyle's next move was clear: to dig deeper into his past and uncover the secrets he fought so hard to keep buried. As suspicions around Maddox intensified, Detective Doyle's attention turned to Martin Renfield. The grieving father's behavior had been erratic since Nat's death, alternating between periods of anguish and calculated composure. While Martin publicly mourned his daughter, private text messages painted a different picture. Recovered messages revealed that Martin had known about Nat's affair with Maddox and had at times facilitated their meetings. In one exchange, Martin expressed his frustration with Maddox but justified his actions by saying, "She's happy, and that's all that matters." This revelation cast a shadow over Martin's role in Nat's life, raising questions about his motivations and priorities. In his interview with Doyle, Martin's demeanor was defensive. "I just wanted the best for her," he repeated, his voice cracking with emotion. But when asked about his knowledge of Nat's pregnancy, his composure faltered. "I didn't know. If I had, I would have put an end to it," he insisted, his fists clenching as he spoke. For Detective Doyle, Martin's involvement added another layer of complexity to the case. His conflicting emotions and apparent willingness to turn a blind eye to Nat's struggles suggested a deeper role in the events leading to her death. With each revelation, the lines between victim, suspect, and enabler blurred, leaving Doyle more determined than ever to uncover the truth. Rebecca Renfield, Natalie's mother, became the next focal point of Detective Doyle's investigation. Once known for her lively personality and community involvement, Rebecca had become a shadow of her former self, consumed by her battle with alcoholism. Friends and neighbors described her as distant and erratic in the years leading up to Natalie's death, often seen stumbling out of the local liquor store or sitting alone in her car with a bottle in hand. In her initial interview, Rebecca appeared frail and disoriented, her voice shaking as she answered Doyle's probing questions. When asked about her relationship with Natalie, Rebecca's responses were inconsistent. "Nat was my world," she insisted, though her tearful recounting of events often contradicted itself. Rebecca admitted to resenting the close bond between Natalie and Martin, her husband. "He always put her first," she said bitterly, "and I felt invisible." A deeper dive into Rebecca's background revealed a history of strained family dynamics. Text messages between Rebecca and Natalie showed a complicated relationship filled with both affection and conflict. In one message, Rebecca praised Natalie's cheerleading achievements, but in another, she criticized her daughter's choices, particularly her relationship with Coach Maddox. "He's dangerous, Nat, stay away," read one text sent just weeks before Natalie's death. Detective Doyle's instincts told her that Rebecca's resentment, combined with her struggles, might have played a role in the tragedy. The investigation into Rebecca's actions and her potential involvement continued to unfold, leaving more questions than answers. As the investigation into Natalie's death deepened, the town of Lenox found itself split between grief and suspicion. Natalie had been a beacon of hope and ambition, and her loss hit the community hard. Yet, as details about her secret relationship with Coach Maddox and the tensions within her family emerged, the town's perception of the Renfields began to shift. Parents of Natalie's teammates expressed outrage upon learning of Maddox's inappropriate conduct. "How could the school allow this?" one parent demanded during a tense school board meeting. The revelations cast a shadow over Lenox High's previously celebrated cheerleading program, with some questioning whether other students might have been affected by Maddox's actions. Meanwhile, the Renfield family faced increasing scrutiny. Neighbors who had once admired them began to share stories of strained interactions and peculiar behavior. They always seemed off, one neighbor confided. Others rallied around the family, emphasizing the need for compassion and understanding. They've been through so much, a family friend said. It's not fair to judge them when they're grieving. Detective Doyle's team conducted interviews with several townspeople, piecing together a mosaic of perspectives on Natalie's life and relationships. These accounts painted a picture of a girl adored by many, but carrying the weight of expectations and secrets that few truly understood. For Doyle, the divided sentiments in Lennox underscored the complexity of the case and the challenge of uncovering the truth. On June 21, 2018, just 6 days after Natalie's death, a breakthrough in the investigation provided new momentum. Forensic analysis of the heavy cheerleading trophy found near Natalie's body confirmed the presence of 2 sets of fingerprints, Natalie's and another unidentified individual. This evidence indicated a struggle had occurred, intensifying suspicions of foul play. Detective Doyle's team also retrieved security footage from the Renfield home's exterior cameras. The footage showed Coach Maddox arriving at the house late on the night of Natalie's death and leaving less than an hour later. Maddox initially denied being there, but when confronted with the footage, he claimed he had come to discuss plans for the upcoming cheer competition at Natalie's request. His explanation did little to satisfy Doyle, who sensed he was withholding crucial information. In a surprising twist, a witness came forward with a statement that further complicated the investigation. Natalie's best friend, Lauren Winters, admitted that Natalie had confided in her about plans to confront someone the night she died. She said she was tired of being controlled, Lauren revealed. She wanted to take back her life. These revelations marked a turning point for the investigation. Doyle's team now had a clearer timeline and new suspects, but the question remained, who had the most to lose if Natalie's secrets were exposed? The mounting pressure of the investigation took a visible toll on the Renfield family. Martin, once the stoic head of the household, became increasingly erratic. He frequently lashed out at reporters camped outside their home, his frustration boiling over in public outbursts. Rebecca's condition deteriorated further, with neighbors reporting seeing her wandering the streets late at night, seemingly lost in a daze. During a second interview with Detective Doyle, Martin's composure cracked. When asked about his knowledge of Natalie's relationship with Maddox, he erupted, slamming his fist on the table. "I knew it was wrong," he admitted, tears streaming down his face. "But I thought it would end before it got out of hand." Rebecca's interview was equally revealing. Doyle pressed her about the night of Natalie's death, specifically her whereabouts. Rebecca claimed she had been asleep upstairs, but inconsistencies in her timeline raised red flags. When confronted with the forensic evidence, Rebecca's demeanor shifted from defensive to desperate. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered, though she refused to elaborate. The Renfields' unraveling added new urgency to Doyle's work. With each interview, it became increasingly clear that the truth about Natalie's death lay buried beneath layers of guilt, fear, and deceit within her own family. The investigation reached a critical climax on June 28, 2018, when Martin Renfield made a startling confession. In a private meeting with Detective Doyle, Martin admitted he had been present in the basement the night Natalie died. "I didn't kill her," he insisted, his voice trembling. "But I was there when it happened." According to Martin, an argument had erupted between Natalie and Rebecca over her relationship with Maddox. Rebecca, already intoxicated, confronted Natalie about her shameful behavior, accusing her of ruining the family's reputation. The confrontation escalated, with Natalie refusing to back down. "She said she was done with all of us," Martin recounted. "She was going to leave and never look back." In a moment of rage, Rebecca grabbed the heavy trophy and swung it at Natalie. Martin claimed he tried to intervene but was too late to stop the fatal blow. "She didn't mean to kill her," he said, his voice breaking. "It was an accident." Martin's confession painted a harrowing picture of the final moments of Natalie's life. For Detective Doyle, the admission brought clarity, but also raised new questions. Had Rebecca acted alone, or was Martin more involved than he let on? With the case nearing its conclusion, Doyle prepared to bring the full weight of justice to bear. On July 2, 2018, the Renfield family's tragedy took a definitive turn as Detective Doyle issued an arrest warrant for Rebecca Renfield. Armed with Martin's confession and forensic evidence tying Rebecca to the crime, officers arrived at the Renfield home early that morning. The once cozy suburban house was now the epicenter of a dark and twisted tale. Rebecca answered the door in a disheveled state, her eyes bloodshot and her hands trembling. She barely reacted as officers informed her of the charges: second-degree murder and obstruction of justice. "I knew this day would come," she muttered, her voice barely above a whisper. As the handcuffs clicked into place, Rebecca collapsed into tears, her body trembling with the weight of her guilt. The community of Lenox watched in stunned silence as Rebecca was escorted to the police car. Neighbors gathered outside their homes, some whispering in disbelief, others shaking their heads in judgment. The arrest shattered the illusion of the Renfields as a perfect family, exposing the fractures and secrets that had led to this unimaginable tragedy. At the police station, Rebecca was formally charged and placed in custody. Detective Doyle, though relieved to have made progress, couldn't shake the feeling that more layers of the story remained hidden. Martin's role in the events leading up to Natalie's death still nagged at her, and she resolved to leave no stone unturned. For Doyle, justice for Natalie was not just about Rebecca's actions but uncovering the full truth. Rebecca Renfield's trial began in late October 2018 at the Lenox County Courthouse, drawing nationwide attention. Media outlets descended upon the small town, turning the case into a spectacle that divided public opinion. Some saw Rebecca as a victim of her circumstances, while others viewed her as a jealous and unfit mother who let her rage consume her. Prosecutor Elaine Graves presented a compelling case, painting Rebecca as a woman whose jealousy and resentment toward her daughter had reached a breaking point. Graves described the fatal confrontation in vivid detail, supported by Martin's testimony and the forensic evidence. "This was not an accident," Graves argued. "This was the culmination of years of unresolved anger and bitterness." The defense, led by attorney Samuel Blake, portrayed Rebecca as a deeply flawed but ultimately broken woman who had acted in a moment of emotional despair. Blake emphasized her struggles with alcoholism and mental health, urging the jury to consider her state of mind at the time of the incident. This was not premeditated, he insisted. It was a tragic mistake by a mother overwhelmed by her demons. The trial featured emotional testimony from friends, neighbors, and experts. Lauren Winters, Natalie's best friend, delivered a tearful account of Natalie's struggles in her final weeks. Her words highlighted the pressure Natalie faced, leaving the jury with a sense of the emotional storm that led to her death. As the trial unfolded, the courtroom became a battleground of narratives, each side fighting to define the truth. After 3 weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. On November 15, 2018, the courtroom filled with palpable tension as the foreman stood to deliver the decision. Rebecca Renfield was found guilty of second-degree murder, with the jury citing the overwhelming evidence of her culpability and the tragic consequences of her actions. The verdict elicited mixed reactions. Some in the courtroom gasped, while others nodded solemnly. Martin Renfield, seated in the front row, buried his face in his hands, his body shaking with sobs. Lauren Winters and other friends of Natalie embraced, their tears reflecting both sorrow and a sense of justice served. Outside the courthouse, the town of Lenox grappled with the outcome. While many believed the verdict was fair, others questioned whether the system had failed to address the deeper issues that led to Natalie's death. She needed help, not punishment, one neighbor argued, referring to Rebecca's struggles with addiction and mental health. The debate highlighted the broader societal challenges surrounding the case and the impact of untreated trauma on families. Detective Doyle, reflecting on the case, felt a bittersweet sense of closure. Justice had been served, but it came at the cost of a fractured family and a promising young life cut short. For Lenox, the trial's conclusion marked the end of a harrowing chapter, but left lingering questions about the cracks in their seemingly perfect community. In the months following Rebecca's sentencing, the Renfield family struggled to rebuild their lives. Martin, now a single father grappling with guilt and grief, moved out of Lenox to escape the scrutiny of the town. He took up a job in a neighboring city, hoping to find a sense of normalcy and distance from the tragedy that had consumed his family. Rebecca, serving her 20-year sentence in a state correctional facility, began attending therapy sessions offered to inmates. Reports from the prison indicated that she was cooperative and introspective, often expressing remorse for her actions. "I wish I could take it all back," she wrote in a letter to Martin. "I failed Nat, and I failed you." The community of Lenox, though forever changed, tried to move forward. The high school cheerleading team dedicated their next season to Natalie's memory, wearing ribbons in her favorite color during performances. A scholarship fund in her name was established to support aspiring athletes pursuing higher education, ensuring that her legacy would inspire others despite the tragedy. For Detective Doyle, the case left a lasting impact. She continued her work with a renewed commitment to uncovering hidden truths and advocating for mental health awareness. Natalie's story became a reminder of the importance of addressing underlying struggles before they spiral into irreparable harm. While the wounds in Lennox would take time to heal, Natalie's memory remained a guiding light for those who loved her. The story of Natalie Renfield became more than just a local tragedy. It evolved into a cautionary tale that resonated far beyond Lennox. News outlets and true crime forums dissected the case, sparking national conversations about the pressures faced by young people, the impact of unresolved family conflict, and the dire consequences of untreated mental health issues. Experts weighed in on the systemic failures that contributed to the Renfield family's downfall. This case underscores the importance of recognizing red flags in family dynamics, said Dr. Ellen Hart, a psychologist specializing in familial trauma. Early intervention could have saved Natalie and prevented the chain of events that led to her death. For the Lennox community, the tragedy served as a wake-up call. Initiatives to support mental health awareness in schools and community programs gained momentum, with local leaders vowing to prevent similar incidents. "We owe it to Natalie to learn from this," said Principal Everett Shaw of Lennox High School. "Her life was full of potential, and we must honor that by creating a safer environment for everyone." As the years passed, Natalie's story became a symbol of resilience and the need for compassion. While her untimely death left a void, her legacy inspired change, reminding everyone that even in the darkest moments, there is an opportunity to build a brighter future. Through remembrance and reform, Natalie's memory continued to shine, a testament to the enduring power of hope and healing. As we bring this chilling tale to a close, we're reminded of the devastating consequences of secrets, betrayal, and unchecked emotions. Natalie Renfield's story is more than a tragedy. It's a cautionary tale about the fragility of trust and the shadows that can linger in even the most picture-perfect lives. Here at Silent Crime Case, we uncover the truth behind the whispers and shine a light on the darkest corners of human behavior. If you found Natalie's story compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into true crime mysteries that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the quietest voices hold the loudest secrets. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.